10 tractors that broke world records for speed. Farm tractors are built to last, pulling heavy implements across fields and performing at a steady, reliable pace. But scattered throughout history, there are rare machines that have defied that definition. Some were tuned in small workshops, others were built by teams of world-class engineers, and a few even emerged from television studios. Each had the same goal: to push a farm tractor faster than anyone thought possible. Today's episode looks at 10 tractors that have broken speed records, from classic icons reborn as race cars to prototypes that rivaled sports cars on the track. When the final machine was unveiled, the numbers weren't just jaw-dropping. They redefined what a tractor is. Don't forget to press and hold that like button, leave a comment, and hit subscribe before we begin. Ranked 10th, Minneapolis Moline UDLX Comfort Tractor, the 1938 tractor that tried to be a car. The Minneapolis Moline UDLX Comfort Tractor emerged in 1938 as a bold experiment in rethinking what a tractor could be. In the late 1930s, most American farmers relied on slow, open-air machines that rarely topped 15 or 20 miles per hour. Tractors were tools of endurance, designed to pull heavy implements all day in the field, not to travel quickly from farm to town. Minneapolis Moline, a company formed through the merger of several Midwestern manufacturers, decided to challenge that expectation. Their engineers produced a machine that combined the mechanical foundation of a standard farm tractor with the body style and features of an automobile. This concept stood decades ahead of its time. At the core of the UDLX was a 4-cylinder gasoline engine producing roughly 40 horsepower. This was not excessive by the standards of the day, but paired with a specialized road gear transmission, the Comfort Tractor could reach the speeds of up to 40 miles per hour. That figure may sound modest today, but in 1938 it placed the machine in a category entirely its own. Farmers accustomed to rumbling across fields at half that pace could now travel to the grain elevator or into town in a fraction of the usual time. The engineering was sound and the performance impressive, but speed alone was not the only innovation. The UDLX featured an enclosed cab modeled after contemporary sedans, a design virtually unheard of in agriculture at the time. Inside, operators found an electric starter, a full instrument panel, a speedometer, and even a factory-installed radio. Windows provided complete visibility while sealing out wind, dust, and rain. Headlights and fenders completed the automotive appearance, making the Comfort Tractor look as much like a road car as a piece of farm equipment. For Minneapolis Moline, the intent was clear: to market a tractor that doubled as a family vehicle, one that could work the soil during the day and transport its owners comfortably into town in the evening. The idea was visionary, but timing proved unforgiving. America was still reeling from the aftermath of the Great Depression, and most farmers faced slim margins. At roughly $2,000, the UDLX costs nearly twice as much as a conventional tractor, placing it out of reach for many. Sales never gained momentum, and production ceased by 1941, having built only about 125 units. To contemporary buyers, the Comfort Tractor seemed extravagant and impractical, a luxury item at a time when survival and efficiency were the priorities. Although it struggled in the marketplace, the UDLX left behind an enduring legacy. The enclosed cab, once viewed as unnecessary, became standard on modern tractors in later decades. Features like instrument panels and road gears are now expected in advanced agricultural machinery, showing that Minneapolis Moline's engineers anticipated trends that would only be accepted generations later. In this sense, the Comfort Tractor's failure was less about design and more about timing. It simply arrived before the market was ready. Today, the story of the UDLX has shifted from commercial disappointment to collector's prize. Surviving examples are few, and their rarity has transformed them into some of the most sought-after tractors at auctions. In recent years, restored models have commanded prices exceeding $200,000, elevating the Comfort Tractor from an agricultural curiosity to a museum-worthy artifact. Collectors and historians view it not just as a machine, but as a statement about ambition and engineering, proof that even in the constraints of the 1930s, manufacturers were willing to imagine a different future for farming. The Minneapolis Moline UDL UDLX comfort tractor stands today as a reminder that speed records are not always about raw numbers. At 40 miles per hour, it never approached the blistering velocities of later record-breaking tractors, yet it redefined the conversation about what tractors could aspire to be. Its enclosed comfort, dual-purpose design, and advanced features embodied a vision of farming that integrated with modern life, rather than standing apart from it. Though farmers of 1938 could not accept its cost or concept, the machine they overlooked has become a landmark in the history of agricultural engineering. Ranked 9th, International Harvester Turbo Pulling Tractor, the 1980s monster that hit 100 miles per hour on dirt. From record-setting tractors built for endurance, attention shifts to a form of competition where speed, smoke, and raw power define the stage. In the United States during the 1980s, tractor pulling was more than a pastime. It was a spectacle that transformed everyday farm machines into engines of extraordinary force. Among the brands that dominated this arena, International Harvester stood out. Farmers trusted the company's heavy-duty machines in the fields, and enthusiasts saw in their sturdy frames the perfect foundation for modification. What emerged were turbocharged monsters capable of speeds that few would have believed possible from a tractor chassis. The standard International Harvester 1066 or 1466 rolled off the production line with a diesel engine displacing about 466 cubic inches, delivering just over 130 horsepower in farm trim. But in the hands of pulling competitors, the engine became unrecognizable. Multiple turbochargers forced air into cylinders at extreme pressure, fueling combustion with methanol or nitromethane blends. Horsepower figures soared from hundreds into the thousands. What was once designed to pull plows across Midwestern soil was now able to spin rear wheels so fast that the tractor's nose lifted clear off the ground. Unlike land speed records measured on open runways, these machines competed on a dirt track less than a football field in length. The rules were simple: haul a weighted sled as far as possible. Yet the contest became as much about velocity as it was about distance. As the turbos spooled and the engines roared, crowds witnessed tractors surging forward with explosive acceleration. In several exhibitions, heavily modified International Harvesters were clocked at more than 100 miles per hour within that short burst. An astonishing figure for a vehicle that began its life on a farm. The sensory experience was unforgettable. Black smoke plumed into the night sky, glowing orange at the tips as unburnt fuel ignited. The sound rattled through the stands, a deep growl that shifted into a high-pitched scream once the turbos reached peak boost. For audiences, this was agricultural machinery rewritten as motorsport theater. For drivers, it was a delicate balance. Too much power, and the machine risked tearing itself apart. Too little, and the sled would grind it to a halt. By the mid-1980s, tractor pulling had matured into a nationwide circuit, complete with sponsorships, safety standards, and professional teams. International Harvester's name became inseparable from the sport, not because the company itself sponsored the events, but because so many competitors chose its tractors as the foundation for their builds. The reputation of IH frames and drivetrains for toughness made them ideal candidates for the extreme stresses of pulling. While these pulling tractors were never practical for fieldwork again, they carved out a new identity in American mechanical culture. They showed that tractors, generally confined to slow progress in fields, could command attention in the same way dragsters did on asphalt. The sport also highlighted the creativity of rural mechanics, farmers and engineers who refused to see limits in the machinery they worked with every day. Today, International Harvester pulling tractors from the 1980s are preserved and showcased at motorsport events and agricultural fairs. They remain symbols of an era when the boundaries of farm technology and motorsport blurred, and when local competitions could draw thousands of spectators eager to feel the ground shake beneath them. For collectors and historians, they represent a unique chapter in the evolution of tractor performance. A moment when speed was measured not on highways or airstrips, but in a packed dirt arena under stadium lights. What International Harvester turbo pulling tractors achieved was not a Guinness certificate or a neatly recorded figure in a ledger. Their record was written in memory: the roar of turbocharged engines, the sight of a farm machine charging past 100 miles per hour, and the knowledge that agricultural technology could, In the right hands defy its own design. Ranked 8th, Valtra T234, Versu, the autonomous snowplow tractor that set a Guinness World Record in 2018. The story of speed in tractors is not always about raw velocity. Sometimes it is about proving that machines built for agriculture can be pushed into the realm of advanced automation. In 2018, on the icy test tracks of Ivalo in northern Finland, the Valtra T254 Versu entered the record books not for how fast a human could drive it, but for how precisely it could drive itself. The T254 Versu belongs to Valtra's fourth-generation T-Series, equipped with a 7.4-liter AGCO power engine that produces approximately 250 horsepower. On farms across Europe, this tractor handles plowing, planting, and heavy transport duties with reliability and efficiency. But in this experiment, its role shifted. Engineers fitted the machine with autonomous controls, allowing it to function as an unmanned snowplow. The goal was clear: to test whether a modern tractor, without a driver in the seat, could perform in one of the harshest winter environments on Earth. The test site was the Nokian Tires Proving Ground, known as White Hell, where temperatures plunge far below freezing and snow blankets the track year-round. Typically, these conditions are used to evaluate winter tires for passenger cars and trucks. On this occasion, they became the stage for an agricultural first. With the tractor stripped of its need for human input, sensors and control systems guided it across the snow. Under autonomous command, the T254 Versu accelerated steadily, maintaining balance on a surface that challenged even experienced human operators. As it crossed the track, radar and GPS systems monitored every movement, ensuring the machine stayed aligned. The Guinness adjudicators confirmed the result: 73.171 kilometers per hour, or about 45.45 miles per hour. It was not the fastest tractor ever built, but it was the fastest uncrewed tractor operating as a snowplow, a category that symbolized more than speed. It marked a transition into a future where agricultural machines might navigate fields and roads with minimal human involvement. For Valtra, the record was a demonstration of brand identity. Since its beginnings in Finland, the company has emphasized customization and adaptability, traits valued by farmers who must work in extreme northern climates. By partnering with Nokian Tires, a specialist in winter traction, Valtra demonstrated that its tractors could withstand the harshest conditions. More importantly, it showed that autonomous systems were not confined to laboratories or concept sketches. They could be implemented on working farm machinery today. The commercial T254 Versu remains in production and in use across Europe. Farmers value its combination of high horsepower, comfortable cab, and versatile transmission. But the 2018 record added a new dimension to its reputation. It demonstrated that the same machine pulling plows and hauling trailers could, with the proper modifications, operate independently in a field of ice and snow. In the broader agricultural market, the achievement was part of a trend. Autonomous technology has been advancing in tractors worldwide, from guidance systems that keep rows straight to fully driverless prototypes. The Valtra T254 Versu's record, however, placed these developments in the spotlight, highlighting both the promise and practicality of automation under real-world conditions. For historians of machinery, the event will likely be remembered as a transitional moment. It did not generate the drama of a high-speed chase or the spectacle of a motorsport arena. Instead, it underscored a different kind of progress: the ability of a modern tractor to adapt to a new role, proving that speed records are not only about numbers, but about expanding the definition of what agricultural technology can achieve. Ranked 7th, Allis-Chalmers Model U, the 1935 tractor that reached 68 miles per hour at Bonneville. The mid-1930s were a time when speed records defined not only automobiles, but also the machines that worked America's fields. In 1935, one tractor challenged the notion that agricultural equipment belonged only to furrows and harvests. The Allis-Chalmers Model U, modest in its commercial form with a 4-cylinder gasoline engine and about 20 horsepower, became the centerpiece of an unlikely experiment on the vast white expanse of the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. The tractor was never intended for racing. Designed to replace horses on small and medium farms, the Model U provided reliability, steady torque, and a top speed just sufficient for hauling wagons. Yet Allis-Chalmers recognized the growing fascination with mechanical achievement and saw an opportunity. If their tractor could perform under the same conditions that defined the era's most daring endurance runs, it would symbolize not just utility, but durability and progress. Ab Jenkins, already a legend for his long-distance records at Bonneville, agreed to take the wheel. His reputation lent credibility to the project. If Jenkins trusted the tractor enough to drive it on salt, the farming community could trust it to endure long seasons in the field. What followed was not a typical marketing stunt, but a calculated attempt to demonstrate the machine's resilience. On the salt flats, stripped of unnecessary weight, the Model U accelerated into territory no farm tractor had approached before. The engine, tuned beyond its agricultural settings, roared as the machine pushed towards 60 miles per hour and then beyond. Finally, the official figure was logged: nearly 68 miles per hour, or just under 110 kilometers per hour. For context, this was triple the pace of most working tractors of the day. The record did not make the Model U a racing icon, nor was that the intention. Instead, it broadcast a message. Allis-Chalmers built tractors with strength and endurance capable of surviving extreme demands. The publicity reached farmers across the Midwest, where the Model U became a trusted name. Thousands of units rolled out in the years that followed, proving that the attention earned on the salt flats had tangible results in sales and brand recognition. Bonneville itself added weight to the achievement. The salt flats had already hosted automobile speed records and motorcycle endurance runs, making it the most respected proving ground of the era. For a farm tractor to appear, there was unusual, yet it placed the machine within a narrative of engineering ambition that Americans admired. Jenkins's presence reinforced that link. His skill and discipline connected a simple four-cylinder tractor to the heroic lineage of endurance racing. Over time, the record faded from public headlines, but remained part of agricultural lore. Collectors and historians look back on the 1935 run as an early example of manufacturers blending performance theater with practical machinery. Surviving Model U tractors, many of which have been restored to working condition, are displayed today not for their racing history, but for their role in mechanizing American farming. Still, the Bonneville figure lingers, reminding enthusiasts that one of these humble machines once surpassed the speed of many automobiles of its era. The Allis-Chalmers Model U of 1935 did not usher in a wave of high-speed tractors, nor did it change the fundamental design priorities of agricultural machinery. What it did accomplish was subtler but significant. It proved that tractors could serve as symbols of modernity and progress, capable of inspiring confidence not only through toil in the fields, but also through daring demonstrations of endurance. On the Bonneville salt flats, a machine built for plowing became a pioneer in the history of performance. Ranked 6th, Belarus MTZ racing tractor. The 2009 Bison Show machine that hit 100 kilometers per hour on dirt. By 2009, tractor racing in Russia had grown into a spectacle of speed, mud, and endurance. At the heart of this phenomenon stood the Belarus MTZ tractors, machines once known only for steady work in the fields, now reborn as competitors in the Bison Track Show. Held annually near Rostov-on-Don, the event drew thousands of spectators and dozens of drivers eager to transform utilitarian machines into symbols of mechanical pride. The Belarus MTZ line was never designed for competition. Born in Soviet factories, these tractors gained their reputation by surviving decades of agricultural service across Eastern Europe and beyond. Farmers valued their simplicity and ruggedness, engines that could be repaired with basic tools, gearboxes that withstood abuse, and a frame that endured years of hard labor. In the arena of Bison Track Show, those same traits provided the foundation for modification. Competitors stripped down the bodywork, reinforced the suspension, tuned diesel engines, and in many cases added turbocharging to extract far more horsepower than the original designers had ever imagined. What emerged were tractors that could accelerate across rough ground at speeds above 100 kilometers per hour. In the 2009 edition of the race, several Belarus machines achieved this milestone, their massive tires throwing dirt skyward as they tore through corners and short straights. The image was surreal. A brand once associated with reliability and restraint now represented chaos and exhilaration. The format of the Bison Track Show demanded more than raw speed. Drivers faced steep hills, deep ruts, and mud pits that threatened to swallow entire wheels. A machine that faltered in durability would not finish, no matter how powerful its engine. Here, the inherent toughness of Belarus tractors gave them an advantage. They were designed to withstand harsh winters, require minimal maintenance, and operate for prolonged periods under load. Modified for racing, they carried those strengths into the competition, giving fans not only speed, but also endurance against the course. For the crowd, the atmosphere was as much a festival as a race. Families gathered to watch, children cheered as tractors leapt over uneven ground, and vendors lined the edges of the dirt track. Unlike the polished image of motorsport in asphalt arenas, Bison Track Show celebrated noise, unpredictability, and spectacle. The Belarus MTZ became the unofficial star. Not the fastest machine by global standards, but the most recognizable presence on the track, embodying both national identity and mechanical grit. From a historical perspective, the 2009 performances marked a shift in how tractors could be perceived. They were no longer seen only as workhorses of agriculture, but also as participants in motorsport culture. While Guinness World Records and laboratory tests defined other milestones in tractor speed, the Bison Track Show represented a grassroots counterpart where authenticity and entertainment took precedence over certificates and official recognition. Today, the legacy of those Belarus racing tractors continues. The event itself remains a fixture, drawing both professional teams and local enthusiasts each year who prepare their machines in barns and workshops. The MTZ platform, still in production in Belarus and sold worldwide, retains its reputation for durability. In the memory of those who attended in 2009, it also retains another identity: the tractor that could thunder across dirt tracks at more than 100 kilometers per hour, proving that even the most utilitarian designs can find glory in unexpected arenas. Ranked fifth, Valtra T234, the Finnish tractor that set a 130 kilometers per hour Guinness Ice Speed record in 2015. In February 2015, the frozen landscapes of northern Finland became the stage for a tractor speed record that captured global attention. On the ice of Lake Vuojärvi in Lapland, a Valtra T234, a machine usually tasked with plowing fields and hauling heavy loads, accelerated to a speed no tractor had ever reached on ice. Behind the wheel sat Juha Kankkunen, four-time World Rally champion, a driver accustomed to pushing vehicles to their limits on snow and gravel. This time, his partner was not a rally car, but a farm tractor. The T234 was prepared with precision. At its core remained the AGCO Power 7.4-liter six-cylinder engine, delivering roughly 250 horsepower. What set the attempt apart was the combination of power with traction. Nokian tires, renowned for their winter expertise, supplied TRI-2 agricultural tires, built to grip icy surfaces without sacrificing stability. Engineers calibrated the transmission and balance to keep the heavy machine steady on a surface that offered almost no margin for error. As Kankkunen pressed the accelerator, the tractor surged forward across the flat expanse. The roar of the diesel engine echoed across the ice, wheels clawing for grip. Spectators and technicians held their breath as the speedometer climbed past 100 kilometers per hour, then 110 kilometers per hour. Finally, the official measurement was logged: 130.165 kilometers per hour, or 80.88 miles per hour. Guinness World Records confirmed the achievement, awarding Valtra and Nokian the title of fastest tractor on ice. The number was remarkable not only for what it represented in isolation, but for what it surpassed. A previous unofficial record of 121 kilometers per hour set in Russia had long stood as the benchmark. The Finnish machine exceeded it decisively, driven not in secrecy but under controlled, documented conditions. The credibility of Guinness validation elevated the accomplishment from a local stunt to an internationally recognized milestone. For Valtra, the event was both a technical demonstration and a marketing triumph. The T234 was already a trusted model among European farmers, valued for its durability versatility, and operator comfort. By demonstrating that the same platform can achieve highway-like speeds on ice, the company highlighted the strength of its engineering. Nokian likewise showcased its tire technology in the most unforgiving environment imaginable, reinforcing its brand identity as the leader in winter performance. For Juha Kankkunen, the attempt carried personal resonance. A veteran of icy rally stages, he brought decades of expertise to a task that might otherwise have seemed absurd, coaxing a farm tractor to speeds approaching those of passenger vehicles on frozen terrain. His calm precision behind the wheel ensured that the machine remained stable, even as momentum threatened to overwhelm it. In the broader history of agricultural machinery, the 2015 record illustrated how tractors could step outside their traditional roles. While they will never replace rally cars or dragsters, these machines possess engineering potential that can surprise even seasoned observers. The Valtra T234's success underscored that tractors, like other vehicles, can serve as symbols of national pride and technical progress. The record still stands as a testament to collaboration, a tractor manufacturer, a tire company, and a champion driver coming together to push boundaries. For the farming community, it was a reminder that the equipment used every day contains reserves of strength that extend far beyond ordinary tasks. For spectators, it was simply an unforgettable sight. An orange and black tractor streaking across a frozen lake at more than 130 kilometers per hour, rewriting what was thought possible in agricultural engineering. Ranked fourth, Gear Track-tor, the TV-built tractor that hit 140 kilometers per hour and made Guinness World Record history. Television is no stranger to engineering stunts, but few programs turn mechanical experiments into global headlines the way Top Gear did. In 2018, the show unveiled a creation that looked more like satire than science, a towering farm tractor painted in glossy red, carrying oversized wheels and flared bodywork. The name was fittingly playful, the Track-tor. What began as a joke on screen soon crossed into reality when the machine earned official recognition from Guinness World Records as the fastest tractor in the world. The heart of the Track-tor was far removed from agriculture. A Chevrolet 5.7-liter V8, delivering around 500 horsepower, replaced the slow, torque-heavy diesel engine that typically powered such machines. The team fitted upgraded suspension, enhanced braking systems, and a driveline capable of withstanding bursts of acceleration. The body retained the silhouette of a tractor, but the internals spoke the language of motorsport. When Guinness adjudicators oversaw the test run, the spectacle shifted from entertainment to achievement. The Track-tor accelerated down the runway, its V8 bellowing, its immense rear tires clawing at the tarmac. The speed climbed beyond what most viewers imagined possible, finally settling at 140.45 kilometers per hour, or 87.27 miles per hour. For a brief time, this hybrid of farming icon and television stunt held a world record. Unlike purpose-built prototypes from manufacturers, the Track-tor was never designed to prove agricultural performance. Its role was symbolic, to show that even machines associated with slow, steady labor could capture the imagination of mainstream audiences. Millions of viewers watched the run, and clips circulated widely online. What might have remained a minor footnote in agricultural engineering became a cultural event, carried by the influence of a television brand. The record did not stand for long. In 2019, JCB's Fastrac Two, a heavily engineered commercial project, nearly doubled the speed benchmark. But the Track-tor's legacy was not erased. If anything, its achievement set the stage for manufacturers to treat tractor speed records more seriously, knowing that media exposure could turn technical demonstrations into global stories. For historians of machinery, the Track-tor exemplifies how records are often as much about context as they are about performance. It did not revolutionize tractor design, nor did it create a lineage of high-speed agricultural machines. Instead, it bridged entertainment and engineering, proving that popular culture could elevate even the most unlikely vehicles to international fame. The machine itself remains remembered less for its technical details than for its audacity. A farm tractor, roaring like a race car, sprinting faster than most highway traffic, created an image too striking to forget. Even as quicker and more sophisticated record holders emerged, The Track-tor retained its place as the record that began with laughter and ended with a certificate. Today, references to the Track-tor continue to appear in discussions of unusual Guinness achievements. For enthusiasts, it serves as a reminder of how flexible the definition of a tractor can become when creativity overcomes convention. For viewers, it stands as one of Top Gear's most memorable stunts, proof that sometimes the boundary between entertainment and engineering can blur so entirely that the result becomes a part of history. Ranked third, Ford 8 and 8 Incredible, the classic farm tractor that broke 100 miles per hour in 2016. Few tractors in American history are as recognizable as the Ford 8N. Built in the late 1940s and early 1950s, it was the machine that brought affordable mechanization to countless farms. With its simple four-cylinder engine, delivering just 30 horsepower and a top speed of little more than 15 miles per hour, the 8N became a symbol of reliability and accessibility. For decades, it was remembered not for excitement, but for steady work. In 2016, that image was rewritten by a machine nicknamed 8N Credible. The transformation began with a group of enthusiasts who believed the humble Ford 8N could do more than history suggested. The original engine was removed, replaced by a Chevrolet V8, supercharged to produce many times the horsepower of the stock tractor. Suspension, brakes, and tires were upgraded to withstand the forces that no farmer in the 1940s could have imagined. The outward shape still resembled the small gray tractor familiar to mid-century America, but beneath its skin, it had become a radically different machine. The venue for its test was Wilmington Air Park in Ohio, a runway more accustomed to light aircraft than farm equipment. Officials from the East Coast Timing Association set the standards, measuring speeds over a certified course. In 2015, the machine had already reached a speed of 96.3185 miles per hour. By the following year, it returned stronger, determined to cross the symbolic threshold of 100. When the run began, the sound was unlike anything a Ford 8N had ever produced. The supercharged V8 roared as the tractor surged down the strip. Spectators watched as the small frame, designed for plowing fields, accelerated past the speeds of modern traffic. When the timing equipment confirmed 101 miles per hour, the crowd recognized that a milestone had been achieved. A tractor designed in the 1940s had joined the ranks of century speed machines. The record carried significance beyond its numerical value. It highlighted the enduring legacy of the Ford 8N, reminding audiences that even a modest agricultural tool could be transformed into a platform for innovation. Where the Minneapolis Moline comfort tractor once sought to merge farm and road, and where later brands chased speed for publicity, the 8 Incredible told a different story. That nostalgia and mechanical creativity could combine to create something entirely new. In technical terms, the feat required precision. The lightweight frame of the 8N was never intended for triple-digit speeds, demanding careful reinforcement. Stability was a constant concern, as the tractor's wheelbase and geometry were built for steady, low-speed work. Achieving control at highway velocities tested the limits of both machine and driver. That they succeeded at over 100 miles per hour proved not just raw power, but engineering discipline. For the farming community, the achievement resonated in another way. The Ford 8N had long represented the democratization of mechanization, a tractor that anyone could afford. Seeing it reborn as a speed record holder gave the model a second life in the public imagination. It was no longer only a relic of post-war agriculture, but also a participant in motorsport history. Today, the 8 Incredible remains a legend in niche circles, remembered wherever tractor speed is discussed. The original Ford 8N remains a sought-after collectible and is frequently restored as a symbol of American farming heritage. But the modified record breaker occupies a different place, as proof that even the most ordinary machines can achieve extraordinary results when imagination and engineering converge. Ranked second, Allis-Chalmers The Pioneer, the 2018 tractor that surpassed 108 miles per hour on a vintage frame. The story of the Pioneer begins not with modern engineering labs, but with a relic of mid-20th century farming. The Allis-Chalmers WD-45 once stood as a reliable workhorse on American fields, producing steady horsepower for plowing and harvest. By the 2000s, it was a piece of agricultural history, remembered fondly but technologically obsolete. Then a team in Arkansas decided to resurrect it, not for the field, but for the record books. They named the machine the Pioneer, an acknowledgement of the tractor's place in America's agricultural heritage, and the bold new role it was about to take. Beneath its vintage bodywork, the team replaced the modest four-cylinder farm engine with a Chevrolet V8, producing over 700 horsepower. Reinforced chassis components, modern brakes, a racing roll cage, and high-performance tires ensured that the tractor could handle speeds no one had ever expected from a machine born in the 1950s. The venue was located in Blytheville, Arkansas, at an airstrip typically reserved for aircraft. In June 2018, Kathy Schalitz climbed into the driver's seat. The contrast was striking: a tractor with post-war roots, fitted with the heart of a racing machine, about to test its limits on a mile-long runway. Officials from the event's Timing Association prepared the equipment, and a small crowd gathered to witness what seemed improbable. When the run began, the sound confirmed the transformation. The deep rumble of the V8 rose to a roar as the tractor launched forward. For a moment, it still looked like a relic of rural America, but the speedometer told a different story. Past 60 miles per hour, then 80, then 100, the machine pressed further, its massive tires gripping the asphalt. By the end of the measured mile, the reading was clear: 108.5 miles per hour, or 174.6 kilometers per hour. Guinness recognition would follow, confirming that the Pioneer had set a land speed record for a tractor. The significance extended beyond the number. The Pioneer symbolized continuity between past and present. The Allis-Chalmers badge evoked mid-century farms, where machines like the WD-45 revolutionized rural labor. The V8 engine and modern components spoke of contemporary engineering daring, where creativity turned nostalgia into performance. Together, they told a story of American ingenuity, respect for heritage coupled with the refusal to accept limitations. For Kathy Schalitz, piloting the machine was more than a test of speed. It was a responsibility. Driving a machine with the proportions of a tractor at highway plus velocities demanded control and courage. Unlike streamlined cars, tractors were not shaped for stability at triple-digit speeds. Achieving over 100 miles per hour required discipline, not just horsepower. In the broader context of tractor speed history, the Pioneer occupied a unique position. It was not a corporate experiment like Valtra's Ice Run, nor a media spectacle like Top Gear's Track-tor. It was a grassroots achievement, born from local determination and executed with precision. Where other records emphasized technology or publicity, this one emphasized tradition, taking a machine once ordinary and giving it a new life through modern craftsmanship. Today, the Pioneer continues to appear at shows and exhibitions, standing as both a tribute to the Allis-Chalmers legacy and a benchmark of what is possible when heritage machines are reimagined. Collectors of vintage tractors still prize the WD-45 for its historical significance in the agricultural industry. Still, the record-breaking version has entered a separate category, a legend of engineering creativity that fused mid-century farming with 21st century ambition. Its run in 2018 did more than set a speed record. It reaffirmed that history and innovation can coexist in the same frame. The Pioneer is not only remembered as a tractor that exceeded 108 miles per hour, it is remembered as proof that even the most traditional machines can carry forward the spirit of progress, bridging the work of past generations with the imagination of today. In first place, JCB Fastrac Two, the 2019 tractor that reached 247 kilometers per hour and set the ultimate Guinness record. By 2019, the pursuit of tractor speed had passed through prototypes, television experiments, and icebound demonstrations. Each achievement carried its own mark of ingenuity, but one machine was built to close the debate. At Elvington Airfield in Yorkshire, engineers from JCB, supported by Williams Advanced Engineering, unveiled the Fastrac Two. It looked unmistakably like a tractor, broad tires, high stance, and a familiar cab, But beneath the surface, it was engineered with the discipline of motorsport. The challenge was simple in concept but daunting in execution. To make a machine weighing over 5 tons reach highway supercar speeds. The heart of the Fastrac Two was a 7.2-liter JCB diesel max engine, reworked with twin turbochargers to produce over 1,000 horsepower. Cooling systems were redesigned, aerodynamics reshaped, and the transmission fortified to withstand forces far beyond farm duty. Michelin supplied road-legal tires capable of holding traction at speeds where tractor wheels had never spun before. Guy Martin, a racer known for his control on the unforgiving Isle of Man TT course, sat behind the wheel. His task was not only to accelerate, but also to guide a vehicle whose bulk and geometry compromised its stability. Down the airfield's long straight, the machine roared, climbing through speeds that once seemed unreachable. 2 measured runs were required to meet Guinness standards, each recorded with precision. When the figures were confirmed, the numbers spoke louder than any spectacle. An average of 217.570 kilometers per hour, with a peak of 247.470 kilometers per hour. The world's fastest tractor had been built, tested, and validated. The achievement was not a stunt, nor a sideshow for entertainment. It was the culmination of decades of innovation at JCB, a company renowned for pushing the boundaries of construction and agricultural machinery. The Fastrac line itself had already redefined what tractors could do on the road, offering farmers the ability to travel at 65 kilometers per hour between fields. But the Fastrac Two went further. It demonstrated that with engineering rigor, even a tractor could rival the performance figures of sports cars. For JCB, the record was a declaration of identity. It showcased not only their in-house expertise, but also their willingness to collaborate with motorsport professionals, merging agricultural engineering with Formula One level design. The event placed the brand on headlines worldwide, ensuring that the name Fastrac would forever be linked with both speed and reliability. Historically, the Fastrac Two stands at the pinnacle of tractor speed achievements. Earlier records had broken barriers: Valtra on ice, Ford 8N at 100 miles per hour, Top Gear's Track-tor for television. Each told a unique story, but JCB's 2019 record was definitive. The moment when a purpose-built tractor, tested under strict conditions, set a benchmark so high that it reframed expectations for what the category even meant. For the farming community, the message was not that their machines would soon reach such speeds in daily life. Instead, it affirmed that the technology behind their tractors, engines, transmissions, safety systems, was advancing to levels once thought unimaginable. For the broader public, it was simply astonishing to witness a tractor, a symbol of slow and steady labor, charging down a runway at over 150 miles per hour. The Fastrac Two remains the high point of tractor speed history. It did not just add another figure to a record book, it closed a chapter. To go faster would mean building machines that cease to resemble tractors at all. In that sense, JCB's achievement stands as both a record and a boundary, defining how far the concept can be stretched while remaining true to its identity. From Bonneville's salt flats in the 1930s to a Yorkshire airfield in 2019, tractors have proven capable of much more than steady work in the fields. Each record told a different story: heritage machines reborn, prototypes built in workshops, corporate flagships engineered with Formula One precision. Together, they chart a history where determination and creativity push the most unlikely vehicles into the realm of speed. These records remind us that even the most practical machines carry hidden potential. Whether on dirt, ice, or asphalt, tractors have occasionally left behind their reputation for slowness and entered a different kind of history, one measured in miles per hour. And while future attempts may someday eclipse today's numbers, the machines we've explored will remain the milestones that prove tractors can race with time itself.